Hello there, this is my top 16 for Edison World Championship Qualifier 8. Here my opponent is IMNerd, a Blackwing player. From the previous replays, I know this about my opponent's deck. So it's Blackwing, its 19th monster is Gorse instead of the second value, as it usually happens. Then we have many drawing cards like Upstart, Legacy and Jar of Greed. Some other trap are missing from the main deck. I mean, not only trap, even other cards. In fact, the actual list is this one. And as we can see, there is one more Upstart and these two cards and other in the side deck. So actually, the list is accurate enough to have an idea about the strategy. In fact, running all these drawing cards is can be tricky, because if the opponent doesn't expect it, they may try to play around cards like Icarus Attack, while there is the drawing card instead. So my strategy will keep this in mind. And okay, for the side deck we'll see later after game 1. So we'll start with the match. So I get to start, and this is usually good, especially when I run this card. I have it. Okay, Oi is great when you start, but the other water monster should be a Treeborn or Swap Frog or Subsitod, summoning one of these other two. So this is not excellent, because I can try to set this one and this one, but I'm not going to activate it immediately, because that would be a -1. And because I wouldn't get the monster for Dupe Frog, as it misses the timing if tributed, even with Oi. This means that I will look for the moment when chaining this card, if it happens, but not on my own. The good thing about this hand is that I have Soul Exchange and Ryza, meaning that if my opponents, which is a Blackwing, will swarm many monsters to make a lot of damage, firstly, Dupe Frog will protect me a little bit, and next turn I can remove many of my opponent's monsters with Soul X Ryza. And there are other scenarios where, for example, my Dupe Frog is not destroyed by battle, and I can Soul X if there is a monster for a Light and Darkness Dragon, making Light and Darkness Dragon, attributing Dupe Frog and one of the opponent monster is usually good, because this one in the grave is quite solid, and then it depends my opponent's monster value or whatever. Well, we'll see. I will start with this safe set, and let's see. Well, that's tempting, because this storm can make the -1 an actual +0, okay, because 2 of my cards for 2 of their cards, but I wouldn't like it, because this is my only frog and I'd like to resolve its effect. Of course, my opponent has a lot of out for this one, but at this point of the game, they all consist of a combination of 2 monsters, like Shura plus Kalut, Shura Gale, or whatever monster plus Gale, Sirocco Bora, and that kind of stuff. But in all these scenarios, I am not going to lose any card because in case, for example, with Shura Kalut, I replace this one with a Swap Frog, and my opponent does the same. They trade a Kalut for example, a Bayou. In fact, my opponent knows that I run 3 Light and Darkness Dragon, so they want to arrive to have Vayu and Sirocco in the grave, so that it's quite safe to remove one Light and Darkness Dragon. Sirocco can only be drawn in this deck, while Vayu can be added with Whirlwind and also summoned by Shura. So I'm not going to chain it. Okay, here has this other solution. So it's gonna be 1700 damage. And I get my Swap Frog. Now, the problem is that Soul Raiza is good, but I will need one more turn because something will happen to this Raiza. Usually it may be a bottomless or something like that. But my purpose is to slow down my opponent so that I can Swap Frog, just send a 3-born with Swap Frog, or eventually if I draw a water monster I can special summon Swap Frog, and well, I wouldn't Soul X in case of Icarus, but anyway I can speed up the play, and eventually I can use enemy controller, Light and Darkness, enemy controller on a 3-born frog, so that I can summon Light and Darkness. This would, the first Light and Darkness in the first turns usually buy you sometimes, but I still have something solid in the grave, so I think that in that scenario that would be good anyway. So let's see. So they said 2 cards. As I said, I'm worried that the 1 is a legacy, so he might not have such an aggressive set as it may seem. Also, he doesn't run any Starlight Road, so Heavy Storm would be really bad, and I don't think that with these few cards, because 2 of their monsters are on the field, he would risk something like that. So I assume 1 is a legacy, but I don't know which one. Oh, now I draw a Battle Fader. This is quite good because, as I said before, I'm trying to buy some time so that I can actually send the tribor and summon all the monarchs one by one. And this is good. Of course, Royal Oppression would be bad against it, but still I should run 1 as far as I know at this point. And also when it is activated, it's bad for a Blizzard, of course, so let's see. I'm not much worried about Oppression being among those 2 sets, but still it could be. Now, Soul Exchange on what monster? Of course, the best and I would say only choice is a Sirocco, because if we send Bora to the grave, we enable Blizzard into Goyo, for example, and then this Raiza would be lost. But also because it's, it's better. Okay. Let's see. Sirocco. Okay. Now, thing is, it's not excellent to bounce Bora, because my opponent doesn't actually lose the normal summon, as it can happen with monsters on the field. But on the other hand, we don't want to hit the legacy, and in that case it would be even worse, because we would be giving 1 new card to the opponent. So it's the only reasonable choice is Bora at this point. Now they could activate something like Icarus attack plus a legacy, for example, so that they're not going to lose any card. They're going to draw the new card instead of Bora and stuff like that, but still the fact that he didn't activate it doesn't make me think that they do not have Icarus stack. Maybe they have it, but they don't want to activate it. But still, let's keep that in mind. So, legacy, of course, one Bora and one legacy activated. Now, either a Gale will be summoned or Kalut in the end, maybe. Okay, Battle Phase, this is Kalut. Now, they have Kalut enabling level 5 Synchro Monster, which are not incredibly great versus Frog, because Android is, as much attack as Monarch, and Cadastor is not good against Caius, so let's see. I mean, next turn maybe, not just one. Okay, this is not quite bad at all, but still we want to send a Tribune first, so because there isn't in the grave, and we can just take one turn this way. Battle Feather will prevent the opponent from making too many damage. I think they could actually win with a combination of cards if the set one is a Royal Oppression, and the two cards, I mean, one already in hand, one they're going to draw. There is some, there are Blizzard and Dad. In that case, it would be game for him. Yes, it would be, but I think it's the only combination, and there's nothing actually that I can do. I mean, I could attack with Wild Frog and try to change this to defense position, destroy it, but I don't really like this kind of move, so that's gone. Okay, no Blizzard Dad, so we are safe. I mean, this is not the most lucky drawn card, but still, this actually, if that value is not banished, they can use it for the effect actually, and so versus Light and Darkness Dragon. That is not so great for me, so let's see. If I want to activate Battle Fader, well, first, in this way I will see if my opponent actually has a Royal Oppression. If they do, I am still, it's kind of even better, because I can enemy controller and summon Light and Darkness pretty, in a pretty safe way. Of course, that then it will be destroyed, discharged and then destroyed, but still I will be in play, and the cards like Dark Armored Dragon and Blizzard are useless, would be useless. So at some points it's not so bad, Royal Oppression against this deck. While in the Hero Frog version it's always bad, pretty much always. So I think I will summon Battle Fader, also because I want to do an interesting move next turn. In fact, I'm thinking about it. That interesting move, I actually am thinking about it at this moment. I'm deciding to do it in this moment, because I can summon Battle Fader, then have a Tribune Frog, of course, and with enemy controller I can take control of Bora. At that point I would have 3 monsters, and that set one of my opponent might be an Icarus attack. In that case, he would be forced to activate it when I actually attack. Of course, they could have Kalut in hand, but that's not even actually a problem. And at that point, if they activate Acro Stack, all of their card, these 3 cards, would be sent to the grave, and I would have still 1 card, like maybe Tribor. And in main phase 2, I could make the actual lock, and that would be totally fine to me. If they don't activate Acro Stack, I can do an even better lock. So at this point, I decided to activate Battle Fader to do all of that. No card is set, so let's see. Okay, another Light and Darkness Dragon. This is not as bad as it seems at first, because okay, we know that my opponent has potentially a value effect. I mean, they could potentially activate it. This is not a Caius, which can prevent it, but the first one won't last so much on the field, but the second one, it will last more probably. So I'll do what I said. So I have 3 monsters, and I'm forcing a Necro Stack, if any. Now I am more likely to think that the card is a Battle Trap or another drawing card held till now, possible. So I'm not much worried. Of course, it could be Oppression if maybe it was not activated at this point because they have already Blizzard in hand, but I will find it out very soon. So with Substitute, I tribute Bora, because if Oppression X is activated now, Bora is gone. If I tribute, for example, Treeborn, and I get Royal Oppression this one, Bora will be returned to the opponent next turn, and that would be really, really bad, especially with Battle Fader here. So it's, I think that at this point I've used 1 dupe, so I have another one after this one. And with this spare slot, I would summon already a Unifrog to try to pressure that card eventually, or as I have Light and Darkness Dragon, my opponent, if I summon, Light and Darkness Dragon is easy to destroy with a combination of 2 chainable cards. And if I summon Unifrog, my opponent will tend not to set cards, except if they have a prison or something like that. But still, I would be able to make some kind of pressure from that point of view. So it's even it's good even just to keep it there. And I've done this turn. So that is not an option for my opponent. I mean, always the Blizzard plus Dad, it is an option, because he would get 3 monsters, then Dad, then Synchro, then these 2, and probably it would be game for him. But still, the combination of those exact 2 cards, okay, they do nothing. It's it's not a relief actually, because when this happens, it means that the Blackwing are holding monsters to swarm later. So I would be quite cautious here. But I think this is a good moment to summon Light and Darkness Dragon, because it is true that it will be discharged, but first we'll get some damage. And after that, this is really hard to unblock this lock, meaning that usually they do Blackwing either a Darkened Dragon, but at this point it would need 2 turns. But as they have already level 6 from the grave, with a Blizzard they can actually do no, that is for Darkened Dragon, but they could also summon monster like Brionac, for example. But in this case, it wouldn't be excellent because it would have to return these 2 cards. I have a Swap Frog, so it's not that bad to me to special summon many times Swap Frog with the Dupe's Returner, or just set the Dupe, depends on what's gonna happen. So I said this meaning that before summoning a Light and Darkness Dragon, you have to somehow figure it out, as it's gonna be destroyed. At this point it is of course certain, because Vayu is already in the grave with the Sirocco. So we just have to think about how to get the most advantage from this situation. Of course, the first point is not lose next turn because of an OTK or something like that, but I think this is quite safe. So, of course, the damage will be done. And now they have many cards, 3 and 1 here, and 1 monster coming from the grave. So, I mean, not actually from the grave, but from the grave. An effect in the grave, it will be summoned from the extra deck. Now, is it a Blizzard? Of course, but will Blizzard summon Brionac or Darken Dragon or something else? Okay. Okay. This is good for, I mean, actually even for to me. First, I noticed that my opponent has 2 monsters with the same attack in the on the field. We have used 1 enemy controller, so there are two other enemy controller plus brain control, meaning 3 cards out of 24 to actually destroy it with their monster, their own cards. Also, if I take control of Brionac, it's even better, of course, because of their effect. In fact, he is quite forced to use 2 cards to get rid of this, because just 1 wouldn't do the trick, because this one would be indestructible, and so he is kind of forced. Of course, 1 by 1, as long as you can. Bottomless. That could have been helpful for him, not sure, of course. Dad is almost gone. I mean, a Blizzard plus the Dad, but he has 0 card in hand, so it's a little more difficult. Of course, at this point there are some damage, but I get to summon Raiza, which is the monster with the higher attack on the field, so I feel quite safe. Well, I was fearing an aggro stack with which maybe is not there. I think that even the drawing card would have been activated, because he discarded the Bottomless, and I mean, 1 more card to choose from for Brionac would be great. So I'm quite certain that that's a Battle Trap, Prisoner of Mirror Force, because I don't think he runs any compulsory stuff like that, not even book, of course. Now, I have more than 1 choice here. The good one would be to just summon Light and Darkness Dragon and attack on Brionac. If a Battle Trap is activated, they are both destroyed by battle, but Raiza is summoned and it can attack Blackwing Armored Wing. But I think that at this point I was thinking about something else. I wanted to have both Raiza and Light and Darkness Dragon, but as I don't have other Monarch in the grave, that it's not going to be the best move, but still not bad, because I special summon this one. Of course, I know there is no Royal Oppression there. Okay, the last one. It was left in the deck. Now I attribute these 2. This is not ideal. I mean, Raiza, maybe at this point I was really fearing my opponent to activate a the effect of Brionac and try for OTK, but also have a new Battle Father, which is not bad. And so it's, I mean, it's not an actual bad move, this one, but it's not ideal. So at this point, Brionac is gone 100%. And now, let's see, okay, Battle Trap, they are destroyed, but I cannot summon Rise Up because it is not in the grave when the effect is activated. But a Dupe Frog at this point is not even that bad. I mean, always Blizzard is the key card for the opponent, or the other ones are not excellent. So let's see what's happening. Now I could summon this one and make the lock once again. But during the standby, actually, something is going to happen. And that is dash shoot, of course, Dupe Frog back. And then nothing more to do. This is not actually bad. This is one of the reasons why Oi is far better than dash shoot in this deck, of course, as we've seen. I mean, that was, I wouldn't say lucky card, but this was the actual spot when he could activate it, because I had 4 cards and I was going to summon a Dupe Frog for making to make the second lock in the same game. So that was good, but Oi is better because it is for free. I can be activated even with 1 or 2 cards in hand, not at least 4. So let's see what they have. Sirocco and Bora. I mean, it's my opponent need both of them to destroy this one. So either way, he won't be able. But Bora deals with piercing damage and stuff. And for next turn, I feel safe leaving him just a Sirocco. That is not that great alone. I mean, they have. They have Gale, which is makes it good, but if they draw into Blizzard, they won't be able to summon a Sirocco first or after in the same turn, but while Bora can be a special summon in that scenario, so it's a little bit more, slightly better to discard Bora. And there is not much that my opponent can do at this point. Now I have a Monarch, but my opponent doesn't have any card on the field. But still, I know they have the only card they have. Meaning that with 2 Rise attack, I can win. Now the problem is that the Rise effect is mandatory. I don't have my opponent doesn't have any card on the field, but I do. So I think that I'm going to set a Soul Exchange. I mean, that would slow me down so much in case of my opponent's Blizzard, because they would make a Goyo, but being forced to attack a Dupe Frog. And I mean, it would not be great to me, but as long as I draw another Monarch, I can win. In that case, I have 1, 2 used, 3 with Raiza. They are all 10, so 6 left, and on 20 cards, so there are other, in case he draws 1 of 2 Blizzard left in 27 cards. I mean, numbers are on my side on this one, but still anything can happen. 1 new card, and they said, of course, okay. DB tells us what they said, but actually it couldn't be otherwise. The worst set card could be Aggro Stack, which didn't draw so far, so it is a possibility. I think so. I have to be really careful about activating generating chains like with Reborn Frog, because in that case it would be able to chain Aggro Stack and have a Dupe Frog to miss the timing. So no, of course that was a Soul Exchange. So I think that I will just attack with the Rise. Okay, nothing was activated on attack declaration, so no mirror force, prison, or Icarus attack. I think that Icarus attack would have been activated because my opponent is lacking on monsters. Sirocco was the last one. And also it is difficult to for him to make a move that Dupe misses the timing. I think now it's actually last of their problem. So let's see what's gonna happen next turn. Same Blizzard can save the game, at least for the moment. Okay, upstart, it's fine. Okay, it is over. Let's see what it was. Okay, this was Legacy. This one bottomless. Okay, no chance of activating it. This is something that happens. I remember from God format. When you draw Upstart and Jar of Greed or Legacy, whatever, then at some point you may end up drawing a drawing card with another one and so on. And if it's this kind of situation where you don't have one more turn, it's enough. It's very unlucky from this point of view. Now for the side deck, we'll see the list. Their list. Of course, I knew not all of these cards, but most of them. So I may expect Pulling Drag, Dark Illusion, a Virus, of course. Maybe Crow, maybe not. Just one seems actually not useful at all, because with a couple of them, or maybe so release, it's meaningful, but just one means just one Reborn banished, it's meaningless. Dyna, of course, I do expect this one as well. And sometimes Oppression, it might depends. Now they're starting, they might think it's a good idea, because it can stop a Substitute from start, and it's fairly good actually. Not that good, of course, in all situations. But okay, let's see. I'm siding mostly my trap cards and Sidra. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is not so bad. Okay, of course he will start. Okay, now what I said about Oppression might be a problem in case, actually, even if I have Trap Sun, so it depends, but Whirlwind Shura is, the best start, of course, and one Carrot in hand, pretty standard, I'd say. Okay, this is not terrible. Setting this one is not of much use to me, because they have Kalut, of course. They might have other monsters and deal a lot of damage. What I would like to do is removing Black Whirlwind as soon as possible. What is the only card that I have so far to do that? It's Unifrog, but not this turn, of course. So what I think I'll do is summon a Swap Frog with Substi, sending Tribone to the grave, then setting Trap Stun. So next turn I can use a Trap Stun, then Tribone 1 or 2 enemy controllers, so that I can tribute any monster, do the lock, and at the same time summon Unifrog to destroy Whirlwind, hoping that nothing too terrible happens in the meanwhile. But anyway, as my opponent must have seen at least some of the 8 replays before this game. When I set a trap stun, they might worry that it's Mirror Force or Torrential Tribute, so I think that they will be a little bit cautious. I mean, not too much, but if they have like something like to Bora to special summon from end, I don't think that's gonna happen unless the set one is a Solemn Judgment or Starlight, but as I knew so far, Solemn Judgment was not very likely to be in their main deck, and Starlight, I mean, maybe with versus Blackwing, of course, but it's difficult that it is sided in against Frog Monarch deck. So I'm fairly sure that they don't have those cards, so they'll be more cautious with a set one. So, okay, Kalut that we knew, and that's Blizzard. Okay. Okay, 3200, of course. One more set, not so good. Actually, at this point, I have to say that if in their turn they had, for example, I mean, if the previously set card were a virus, he could have activated during his turn with Shura plus Kalut, this one or another in their end, for example, in the battle phase, and that could be could give him quite of advantage. Of course, I have trap stun, so it's not that was not going to resolve properly, but still that was a possibility. Now I will trap stun and stand by. I mean, this isn't very this isn't so great because I'm not chaining this to an opponent's card, but in this situation they cannot chain virus as well, so it's not that bad. And if they don't have the D-Crow, okay. Now I think that I will do 2 enemy controller because I want to get rid of all of their cards, their monsters. I cannot actually use the Soul Exchange because I want to attack with Unifrog to destroy the Whirlwind, so I think that I'll do just another one, and then I will okay, summon this one, but I need to tribute Kalut to get Unifrog, and now I will deal kind of some damage, but still with Virus or Icarus attack they can really be I mean, destroy my lock. Also with Blizzard I can summon Catastor, and that's enough to make to activate the virus. Because in this case, I mean, the Brionac move, I think it won't be an option after side, but also Icarus attack can be enough. So of course my Dupe in the end I summon. I mean, this is good, I mean, not so good, but versus monster, but not versus the really solid trap cards. And he set one, we know that this Sirocco, so a trap is going to tribute it. Maybe Virus, maybe Icarus, we don't know. We will see next turn, but I mean, we pretend we don't know, but it's kind of... Now I don't activate the Treeborn Frog for the same reason of the previous game, because if they change something, the Dupe will miss the timing. Also, if it's virus, I don't really know what to target, because if I target the monster and it's a virus, or Icarus, it's kind of the same thing, it's gonna be a problem, because it will miss the timing, the target, of course. And if I just randomly try one of the set cards, it can be the chainable trap or even pulling the rug. So I will just, try to see what's gonna happen by attacking with Unifrog without generating any chains before that. Now they do a prison, but chaining with virus, meaning that they are all destroyed and Dupe Frog cannot activate their effect. So then now I have Caius and Solex. That was, a really productive virus, effective. 5 cards for him. Let's see. Just a gale. Now I draw Gorse, but they know it, so it's complicated. Let's see, I can summon Caius, even if, the previous set one could be pulling the rug or bottomless. In case of bottomless, Gale is banished, but still I would lose Caius, and with these few life points and knowing that they have Blizzard, which can be a Blizzard into Goyo, or if they have a Kalut, a Blizzard into Armed Wing, and there's nothing I can do with the Gorse, of course. So I think that I will just try to make the Caius. Okay. So I'm forced to summon Gorse, but still it's more helpful to my opponent than to me. Of course I have Soul plus eventually a Caius, but it's not of any use actually. Solex, it's not of any use. Let's see what they had. Oppression and Icarus attack. Okay, this game. Okay, now we decide. I think that I put back the Oi as I start, and the remaining cards are mostly the same, maybe some less trap cards, I don't remember exactly. Also, it's very, I don't have the usual side pattern that's apply for each opponent. It also depends on what I think it's my opponent's strategy, even after side decking. So I don't remember exactly, but that was mostly the. One or two cards can change for the things that I've just said. Of course, I don't have to see the end because I don't know it. And at this point, I do want a frog. Okay, just like game one, this isn't actually the best situation, but I do the same strategy. Also, I have Solex, not with Rides, but with Light and Darkness, and that's not so bad. Also, after side, my opponent is, they usually run Dyna, so Mirror Force is kind of good. Also with Dupe Frog, for a later turn. So I don't know. It's not gonna be a fast win as usual, but let's see if it's gonna be a win. Okay, this is 2. Let's see. Dash shoot. No dash shoot. Now, Unifrog usually is not so good to draw, but in this situation it's not even so bad, because I do have a frog here, and so I can actually try to summon it, summon Unifrog, flip this one, then attack with all of them. In case everything goes smooth, the problem next turn would be the Dupe Frog in attack position, but for that Mirror Force could help, and in case everything goes so very well, next turn I could tribute both of them for Light and Darkness Dragon, but let's see if that's gonna happen. On this summon, he's thinking. I mean, Torrential, for example, is one of the few responses to this card, but if they think this is a Dupe Frog, they must be thinking about a way to have Dupe Frog miss the timing. The problem is, not the problem, the good thing is that I haven't flipped it, so they can wait and see, because if this Unifrog attacks, it just deals 400 damage and no effect, so it's not actually a problem. Summon good. Okay, I flipped this one, and now let's see what's gonna happen, if something's gonna happen. Okay, they chain of pressure just to flip it, not for the effect, meaning that they want to change something else. And the only card in my mind is Torrential. Now at this point, I'm gonna lose both these monsters, but I can change this one. So they use 2 cards. They use 2 cards, of course, but they lose 1 from the end as well. And I lose 3 cards, so it's kind of, minus 0, at 0. I have the disadvantage of not having any frogs, actually, and 2 tribute monsters in my hand, but the advantage of knowing my opponent's hand and eventually to disrupt their strategy. So let's see, change this one. So okay, tribute this one. Now here it's not a so easy choice, but the thing is that I need many more turns to get my frogs. Also Solex is not that great because I have 2 tribute monsters, and it's gonna be, a long game, even longer than I expected. So MST is good against Mirror Force, so I could discard it, but still it wouldn't be ideal, because for example, if they don't attack, they would attack the first one with this one. I could set Mirror Force, maybe not activating, maybe yes, but then Shura Aggro Stack could lead my opponent to make some powerful moves. So Dyna can be discarded because it's a problematic monster, but the Icarus and Shura, I feel that more of a problem. So I will do the things in a way that I can I can take as much time as possible. If I discard the Shura, Aggro Stack is useless. Dyna is very strong but still limited. It doesn't have such a high attack, so I can resist many turns. And I think that's the best option I could come up with. And let's see. Okay, Oppression. Okay, another important thing is that Oppression is on the field. So Dyna is strong for Treeborn, but not so much. So it's, I think it's very a good choice. Now the actual choice is whether or not I should set Mirror Force. That's, as my opponent knows that I know about his MST, they may think that I said something just to bait, so they might choose not to activate it. And I will try because to set it, because I could in either case, if MST is activated and then Dyna summoned, I can still hope to draw a Monarch, I mean actually any Monarch, to do the Soul X Monarch move. I could, in case of rides, I could bounce Royal Oppression, which would be great, or banish it with the Caius. That's not so great because Breeder could summon that again, so it's not actually what I'm hoping for. This is one of the cases when Raiza is better than Caius, even versus Blackwing. Of course not Substitute because of Dyna and Oppression, but in that case, a Substitute would be a good defense. I mean, just for one turn, then I could use Soul X and Light and Darkness on bot monster to summon Light and Darkness Dragon. So I think that I'm not in such a bad situation. Okay, the MST is not great, but still it's not so very bad, it's not over. Now this is interesting because I mean I had 5 other 2000 defense frogs and I draw this one, which is usually great. At this point it's more tricky because if I summon it, send the tribune to the grave, then return it back to my hand, my opponent is not going to I will not be able to summon the tribune, so my opponent will be able to attack even with the other monster they draw. The thing is that if I set it, my opponent may think that it's a frog. I'm a frog with 2000 defense, so it's not going to attack, or if they draw a monster, if I set this one with an enemy controller, so one monster and one set, they will not fear Mirror Force, of course, so it will not be like Shura and Dyna with Dyna in defense position, just Shura attacking, but they might fear Tornado Tribute, for example, and maybe not summon it, maybe, or maybe they do, depends on the situation. But my main purpose is to set this one and this one, so that I can negate Dyna's attack and have a Swap Frog resist for stays on the field for one turn, so that next turn I can flip it, send the frog to the grave, and then Soul X for Light and Darkness. That's my plan for next turn. Of course, if they have one monster, maybe any monster, because it has 500 defense, this won't be possible. Also, I may be able to draw a Monarch and do the whole move, but still it's not, that would not be ideal. The card, I know one card in their hand, which is Icarus Attack. I don't know the other one. It could be a monster, it may not. And also one more card, so let's see. One more card that they are going to draw next turn. Let's see. Okay, I'm quite, I feel safe because now I can do this one. Now a problem could be if they set a monster and Icarus Attack, and on my Soul Exchange they chain the Icarus Attack. That could be the worst case scenario. Okay, they don't set anything, so I feel relieved. Now, at this point I could actually bounce Swap Frog to make an additional normal summon. I don't remember if I actually thought about this, but still, versus Blackwing, especially after side, I feel quite safer with a Dupe Frog in hand rather than a Swap Frog, especially when I have something on the board like this one. So it's not even that bad actually. Also I have a Dupe Frog in the grave in case this dies, or I mean two other good frogs. So I mean actually all the frogs in my grave in case something happened to Light and Darkness Dragon. Okay, they do nothing. Okay, now I will go for I mean as much damage as possible. The thing is I have to think if setting Dupe Frog to then tribute for Cyber Dragon, and that is a lot of damage, 4900 damage, plus the 28 that on this turn I'm going to inflict to my opponent, but still that's not enough. Also, the main, I mean, my opponent, they have many options, because with Blizzard, I couldn't pay for Oppression because Light and Darkness would chain first. But still, I mean, the effect would be negated but not destroyed. So with monsters, I mean, they could, I mean, helps to discharge it. But still, the better move, of course, it is Sirocco, because with Sirocco can activate the effect and this is negated once, then another card can be activated card or other effect, like a Gale Special Summon effect and stuff like that. I mean, no, in this case, I could negate Gale, so it's not an option, okay? They should actually activate, for example, a spell card, even any card, so that it's Sirocco can destroy this by battle. It's not that big problem to me at this point, because Sirocco, because if this one is destroyed during by battle, so during damage step, or Royal Oppression cannot be activated, and I can do stuff. Then I can summon one of these frogs. So, I mean, when you summon Light and Darkness, you have to figure out the way your opponent is going to kill it, especially when they have 8k as the life points, and it's very likely that all damage is dealt with this one. So at this point, I feel that it's not so safe to do the Dupe Frog move, because if they can destroy this one, I'm gonna lose this one as well. So I will just go with the damage and see what happens. They have 5 cards in hand, which is really damn many cards, really bad for me. Okay, Sirocco is there, of course. Now it's not enough. They might have Kalut, for example, or stuff like that. Okay, no, if it's Storm, it's quite good, because for him, I guess, because it is negated, the Royal Oppression stay there, so it's okay. Not so good spell anyway. Even if I had one card to set, they have to destroy their own Royal Oppression. So this is a good way to use EV Storm. In fact, I think just the Dupe Frog, which is safer, especially because I have another Dupe in my hand, so I can lock. If that is Icarus attack or the virus can be a problem. I drawn the third Dupe Frog, but okay. I don't do the Treeborn for the same reason, but virus and Icarus attack. I mean, no, Icarus attack at this point, it depends. I mean, he may want to destroy his own oppression, of course, but he may not. So just summon this one and see what's going to happen. Nothing. No, okay. Now, the thing is that if that's a virus, it might be a problem anyway, because Sirocco can be chaining 1 and the virus chaining 2. Same thing with Icarus attack. So, but in that case, they would lose Sirocco. Bora normal, not special of course because of oppression, so that's chaining 1, so I expect something to be chained. Okay, the only good thing about this is that Bora stays 1700 because Virus tributes Sirocco as cost. So in resolution there is no Sirocco on the field, but of course this is really strong because I am left with Cyber Dragon, just that one. And of course it's not a problem that is usually special summoned because I have my 3 Bone Frogs, so I can actually normal summon it. Of course no problem with that, and it's immune to pulling the rug, so it's not so bad. This is kinda good because I know that one of those 2 sets is Icarus attack, and my opponent has 2 monsters in the grave. So with this one in the grave, they could summon Dad if they top deck it, or anyway they want to. I think they want to draw into Blizzard, but oppression is a problem. So I am under the virus. So Battle Fader and the Substitute would be destroyed instantly. So Royal Oppression has no use for 2 turns. So it's really. They really want to, I think, they want to use Icarus attack to destroy their own Royal Oppression. And my only monster, of course, but this won't allow that, so it's really great. Of course, EV Storm would be even better, but still, I'm not complaining. Dimensional Prison would be a problem, not a Bottomless Trap Hole, of course. Okay, they're thinking, but in case, I mean, if they change the Icarus attack, it would be 500 for me and 2100 for them, so it's more that kind of choice, I think, that to survive some more turns. Now this is good for me. Okay, as I said, I can draw all those cards, and so oppression is even more useless than before. For my opponent, for me is helpful, because if they draw into a Blizzard, for example, that's good for me. I mean, they could actually chain stuff, but still. Okay, now in 2 turns I may win. Maybe 1 if I draw into a Monarch and they don't have Pulling the Rug, for example. Or even Light and Darkness might be good. Okay, not of them. So let's see, 1 more turn. 3 cards. Okay, Virus has finished its effect. Allora, let's see. Gods. Okay, this was a bad one because of oppression and because I mean my body has a shield which would prevent Icarus attack from destroying even his own card. I mean, if they choose 2 of their own card, I cannot chain it, but if they choose 1 his and 1 mine, I can chain it. Also, he's really out of life points, so I don't know when he drew this one, but maybe it might have been useless since he drew it. So let's see if something's gonna happen. Okay, so not many options. Let's see what was that. Okay, there was actually that, don't know the exact moment when it was drawn. Second copy of Royal Oppression. This was actually in a bad combination of cards, 2 Oppression and 1 Gods. Dark Illusion, okay, it was set when Bora was on the field, so in case of Caius it would have been very strong. And okay, this one we know it, and they needed, my brain is not bad, but in situation is useless. So, okay, I think this is everything. And this was top 16. Next video will be about top 8. Thank you for watching.